Hello everybody and welcome back to Crown Falls. Now in this episode we will finally finish our research institute, the monument that we built here, where I just specifically put out in this island here, on this island here. So as we can see, we can finish it. Before I do that, I want to do something else though, and that is going for the next stage of my town hall monument. So we finished phase 2, we can finish that and can start with the third one here right away. Oh, we actually lack a bit of caoutchouc there, but we have enough light bulbs and filament and enough workforce, of course, to start also with this phase. So the caoutchouc is a bit lacking, but there are some caoutchouc trade routes coming into Crown Falls, and as we can see, yep, so we should be seeing more caoutchouc coming in. As we can see, we can already kind of guess how it's going to look at the end. There's a huge tower in the center as well, so this is definitely a looker in the center of Crown Falls. But let's go for the Research Institute, that we have it ready for finalization. This is also one of our main quests that we have, and let's finish it. In all its glory, it's looking fantastic, absolutely beautiful.
You did it. This was forever my
Institute.
dream, and now you made it true. Imagine now how the world shall join hands in research.
Yeah, well, let's hope they do. And with that, a whole lot of things are opening up.
We conduct research here.
Yes, well, that is quite obvious. We have also gained the achievement here now with the Monumental Knowledge DLC in that case. And yeah, I hope we're getting a follow-up quest. I think so. I think there should be a following up quest. First of all, of course, let's have some roads around it. I mean, it's perfectly fit out for that. As we can see, there are some smaller parks here anyway. And we just have the paved roads then around that. And that means now we should then be able to go for the scholar residence. So let's open up the Research Institute, because now we open up a new, well, option, mechanic that we have, and that is the researching. Now with the researching, we can unlock new buildings and new mechanisms even. We can, for example, move resource depots, like the clay pit, to other locations if we want to. We have a few fields here available, the fields of research, the item development, the major discoveries, and the donation to science. Now with donation of science, I can donate something to them to gain additional research points that I would need. We get a lot of people coming in here all the time with the ships that we don't need, you know. So in that case, for example, some captains here, or all these legendary items, also the rare items that I really don't need anymore, we can just, you know, get them here and donate. All these people, I don't know what happens to these poor souls, but I guess they're going to be used for science. I mean, that's the least of it, right? 950, let's donate it. And thus we've donated quite a lot of items, so that's also a nice item sink that we have with that. We can, yeah, kind of destroy these items and get some research points out of it. And then, for example, we have our major discoveries. So the first one here is the campus extension permit, and acquires the permits to build additional scholar residences. You can build scholar residences from the scholar tab, right? So this takes 30 minutes and costs 150 research point. As we can see, we have then the Great Eastern, so with that we could then build the Great Eastern ship, a pier upgrade that allows us to upgrade our pier for further customization of trade routes. And we have the research kit. Identify an item you own to learn how to develop it at the research institute. But we could also create items then this way. Let's go with the the extension. So this takes now 30 minutes. There can only be one development in progress, right? We have the fields of research. So here we can invest our scholar points that we have into direct bonuses. Like, for example, cultural, identify animals, artifacts, or plants for use in your cultural buildings, identify machines, and identify specialists. So that is something. For example, animals. Let's invest some 100 points into animals for our zoo. Right, and as we can see, we have 3 items identified with that. For example, the wild beast and the cheetah that we have now. Also, we could do the same thing for our botanical gardens, right? And thus to get a bit more. And for our museum, the Song of Ilion also costs us a bit, right? So that's that. And also in the center here, technological advancements that we could, for example, go with. We've invested the research, and that's what we get out of it. So in that case, Dr. Mercy's Anarchy poster for the town hall. Oh, attack range plus 15%, the Taylor mobiliscope. So that is also something interesting, right? So those things are what we can do. Right now we are researching a bit to build finally our little district. And as we can see, it is working now. I guess we can see that because there's fume coming out of the whole thing. Beautiful building. Looks a bit similar to our university that we have there. Though the university is smaller. Both of them, though, have a telescope on board, though. This one is a bit taller and bigger, I guess. Righto. It actually fits with the worker buildings that we have there from the color, which is pretty cool. But on the other hand, of course, we're going to see some residence buildings then up here as well. Alright, back in Africa, we still have lots of work to do. The first thing that we need to do, the paper. So we still haven't started with the paper. We do have an irrigation plant here, a water plant, pump. That is not enough. Of course, we do need something for the wood. When I check my storage, we do have around 250 tons of wood right now. This is quite a lot. Let's get our first warehouse just here. The good thing here is we're not going to need any plants here or plantations, so no irrigation, because this is just all going to be full of people. In that case, it's our city. So let's go with, because we want to go with the illuminated manuscript, if you remember, and we already have lots of indigo, so the paper mill is the only thing that's missing. It does need, though, what I can see right now is it needs elders. Oh goodness, I thought the paper mill would need shepherds, so not a big deal, because we still have a bit of space in Tabarim, but of course, well, it's getting a bit rare here too, especially for the irrigation. I don't need any more irrigation though, because we have all the plantations we need, and I'm just importing now. Lucky us, we still have one more, but in that case, I did not know this. So let's build us a warehouse there. Let's leave a bit of room. The advantage here is that we can still have 2 more plantations. Even 3, as far as I can see. 3 more plantations in this corner, since it's all full of water here anyway. And here we can now have the paper mill. I like it more here anyway, because it's right on Tabarim where we can build the luminar. We have the paper mill, 15 seconds, and we already have the indigo here, right? So we can have the luminar, and I think 2 of them will be fine. That's all we probably will need. And let's have those buildings actually... yeah, somewhere here close to the city. Should we do that? I think this makes sense. We have enough workforce anyway. Let's just squeeze them in here, in this area. So there's the first one. And also the second one. And we could even have a third one here as well. But of course, we should also then upgrade this warehouse there to a much bigger and more beautiful warehouse as well. And just fits to the city. And I like to have industrial buildings close to the city as well, because that's just realistic. It's not realistic to have just a monotonous looking town, but rather mix it up with some industry. As long as it's not highly polluted industry, I'm totally fine with it. So we have that. Perhaps a few more parks here. So we have a few trees there, separating the living from the industry, and perhaps also some water wells that we can have there with some bushes in between. Righto, and they will now start to produce the luminars that we need for our elders. What happens next? Next is that we delivered finally the resources to Kitima, so that we have them. And thus we've decided to choose his side.
I hope it's still.
Archie will not be happy with that, but we helped Archie and the Queen quite a lot in Crown Falls anyway.
Battle cruiser ready. Have the people of Mbesa not suffered enough? There must be some other way. A compromise, a meeting.
Cargo stations.
Who knows? Shortage. A new quest we get, hospitality wears thin. I still do need to change something else. And that is the wood trade route. There we have it. It's not Lepna, but it is going to be Tabarim. Right, in Tabarim, we're going to unload all the wood, right? And this one here just goes away. And thus we have corrected the whole thing. And next quest we have, guests like fish begin to smell after a few days. Emperor Kitima decides that sending Sir Archibald a beehive as a gift will signal to him the unity and self-sufficiency of Mbesa, as well as the willingness of his people to defend their home in the face of any provocation. A beehive. Alrighty, beehive. I guess we can already pick it up for the battle cruiser. There it is. My soldiers are ready to transport the bees to Archie's port. There's also another battle cruiser of mine. They're just casually floating around here. My battle cruiser is absolutely not intimidating for anyone. And while that ship is on its way, we of course still have the storyline of Angarep. so the Garden of Four King Alleys, your inquiry into the location of the Spear of Selamavi has revealed that the priests have hidden it behind what they call the Octoad. The thief bemusedly asks that you search the library on Kidusi to find clues concerning this cryptic name. Alright, help to figure out the location of the spear. Make a decision. When Tiluhan died, the priest wrote that his belongings, including the spear, were returned to the Octoad. Do you have any idea what that might be? Could it be 8 virtues as described in a book? Or the name of one of the people buried here? Let's try with the 8 virtues. A breakthrough! So this Octoad is a creed, a belief in 8 cardinal virtues that must be observed by the priests in Kidusi and Itoni. That's certainly interesting, but it doesn't help us much. Look around some more and see what you can uncover. I guess I need to look around up there, right? When Tiluhan died, the priest wrote that his belongings, including Old Spear, were entrusted to the Octoad. We know from a book in the library that the Octoad are the 8 cardinal virtues observed by Kidusi and Itoni's priests, but I'm unsure how that helps us find the spear. Alright, so these answers here are more like riddles, so in that case we have to search the books that we have here. We can find the answer and then answer correctly. Alright, and we delivered also the beehive now to Archie. Let's see what he makes of it.
I see. How kind. Please take these away. Somewhere distant, preferably.
How many more presents do we have to give you? Come on, Archie, be happy about that.
Katima's people sent in from the old world. The long.
Alright, deliver to Katima Lifeheart the overripe fruit basket.
Then I'll give him a piece of my own mind.
Oh no, Archie is not really onto diplomatic relationships there, and we need to continue with our Garden of Four King Alleys here. So when Tiluhan died, the priest entrusted his belongings to something they called the Octoad. We found a book by this title in the library in a wing aptly named the Island of God. Now, if the book's position in the library is assumed to mirror the spear's position on the island, we must discover what the Island of God refers to. Therein lies the key to understanding this charade. Perhaps each wing represents one of the islands of M-Beza, or perhaps each wing is a representation of a specific place on the island. Let's make the other one. That's what I thought at first, but the Island of God in M-Beza would be Kidusi itself, which brings us back to square one. Fair to say, that would be far too imprecise. If we assume the clues were designed for future generations of priests, it must be something they'd easily be able to identify. Wait a second. Then it's the other one. So this is, I don't like this so much, you know. So it's a lot of story. And if you're wrong, you just have to start over again and just choose the right button. So there is a bit of a choice here, but it's not really a choice. So because there's no different outcome of anything. Of course, remember the inscription on the library's frontispice. Within the library is the Hall of Kidusi. It corroborates your theory. If that is so, then the Island of God must be the holiest place on the island, the basin of ablutions. Ablutions also located in the leftmost part of the temple. So the library itself is a map. How simple, how elegant. An impressive deduction, my friend. Then, if the book is in the leftmost wing, we must look to a place in the leftmost part of the temple. A place where the Octoas, the 8 virtues, could be represented.
With those clues, we should be able to determine where the spear was hidden.
And it's the 8 pillars that we have here, so this is where the spear most likely is.
I have scouted the place, and I believe I have a plan. Meet me when you are ready.
So we are stealing a spear now here, by the way. This is, I don't know, not very holy, I guess. Let's make a decision. The spear is near the entrance to the temple, which is under heavy guard. If take the road, I'm certain to encounter priests, and they will doubtless be wary of my presence and identity. There's also a hidden mountainous path that would get me quite close to the temple, but it seems rather perilous. Take the mountain path.
Treacherous path. Loose rocks?
Yeah, you definitely can do this. Take a picture of the pier at the entrance of the mountain. This one here. Oh, and my overripe fruits have arrived.
Thank him, for this will feed the many poor families.
We're also going to turn that in.
Wait till you hear from me.
Alright, and he's on his way now. Hopefully getting there alive.
I cannot leave home while pestilence roams the streets unchecked.
Okay, he takes 7 minutes to get up there.
I had no knowledge of this. It was an accident. I would never stoop to such underhanded ways.
Alright, and Archie is still continuing to make everybody angry.
Deliberate. I will not believe it. Though it is not the first time men of the old world inflict their sickness upon new lands.
About.
There have been precedents.
How could they not know?
Oh!
If there is a precedent. How could this not be deliberate? Be murder?
I see. Archie sent something with a poison. Is this real?
The people celebrate your leadership.
Pick up at Katima's lighthouse, Biniam.
Something must be done to drive that parasite out of Mbesa, out of our lives, for good. The water, of course. That's it. Hurry then. I must get to the canals.
Alright, slip past patrols to Blake's and Basin Harbor and deliver the Biniam. So we need to deliver him with my flagship. No, what we have is our monitor here, and that is a fast, small, agile ship that we can use. And also my wood has arrived, and I've unloaded it then. There is my wood that we need to unload for the paper mill. Righto, so now my paper mill can work. This one here, this beautiful building there. There's the cart already getting the goods then to the paper mill, so we should see it starting to work now. And there it is, in all its glory, producing some paper for us. And where is my battle cruiser? It's a very small ship, a very slow ship there in comparison to my cargo ship. Alrighty, so here we are at Archie's port. My monitor with Binyam is close by. There are the patrols. Fortunately for us, the patrols are frigates, so they're rather slow ships. And we should be able to slip past them. The first one isn't a big deal. We need to get to this dock there right away. This one is now turning around. We should not get within the radius here. And there's my monitor.
The people celebrate your leadership.
Small little ship that we have there, and fast. And as I can see, is it actually sailing around it? We might now go right for the port there. Well, this one is turning around.
Your leadership.
I wish harm on no one.
And
Now
there we
to
did
find
it.
those pumps. Simple, harmless. None need be hurt.
Alright, we actually want to sabotage now. And he's absolutely not suspicious, walking around with a torch in his hand. But so be it. Keep an eye on Biniam as he sabotages Archie's water pumps. Now these quests are certainly a bit more interesting
I will
though.
not have families torn asunder by one man's blind greed.
By the way, I haven't seen the Queen in quite some time, so I don't know if Archie is really working for the Queen here. Who knows? Let's just watch him there. Perhaps we need to act quickly. Something is happening in Archie's little town.
Fire broke out.
Cute little village here. There's the water pump, and he did it. Water pump has been destroyed, and thus the fields wither.
He can't manage on this land without our help. Yet he says we need him. We never needed him. Never.
This is a shoe.
And the next one is down. Very good.
There. Let the Lycaon see how well he fares without water. We have no need of his arrogance and
There is the
pride.
police. Do we need to do something here?
Is this the hospitality of Mbesa? Flames and steel in the night. Seize him and see to his extradition.
Alright, so I couldn't do anything about that. He has been imprisoned now.
There will be no transportation. Binyam is a subject of Mbesa and will be returned to us for trial.
And who are you, O king, to countermand the will of empire? I fear our talk must now be of fleets and steel.
He doesn't look particularly happy about that, but with 2 frigates he certainly
I had
cannot
hoped
wage
the
war.
Council would make for peaceful
Oh,
times,
and have at least 6 military
but
ships
it
in
seems
Mbesa.
neither. So be it. We must sound the drums of war.
The drums of war. Perfect. Actually some fighting then. I do need 3 more battle cruisers to do something here though. Let's go back to Crown Falls. We do have 1, 2. Do we have a third one? Nah, we really only have 2. Let's go to the old world there. See what we have here. Another one. Yeah, let's send this battlecruiser here to Enbeza. And in Crown Falls, I'm going to send the 2 that we have to Enbeza. Righto, and off they go. And while the ships are on the way, we actually finished the Town Hall Monument. So let's also finish this one, finish the face, and boom, Town Hall Monument we have built now once again in Crown Falls. And as we can see, it also acts as a huge town hall. So we can then add items to this. For example, for the investors, income per house is plus 10%, which is pretty big overall. So this gave us 18,000 on the balance there. In addition, for all of these these buildings there, the churches, the range we could increase. The members club we could increase. Let's do the members club. So this affects a few more citizens there, and also here the max residence is plus 20%. So this increases our investor population even more of what we have here in the city center there. So that's quite a powerful item there as well. Plus, I gotta say, this building is fantastic and it's just fitting in here so nicely. Look at that. Beautiful. The big tower. So thus we have the town hall again right in front of the Christmas market. And Christmas is upon us, so this is just fitting that we have it. We only need to think about something here now in this empty spot there. On the other hand, I'm pretty sure that we will now finish our scholar breakthrough anytime. Let's just have a look at that. We have it. Collect our first major discovery. So that's 5 scholar ships that we have. In that case, they are quite expensive, so they cost me a bit of window there, and we can build now our first scholars, and this is exactly what I want to do. First of all, let's get rid of the warehouse there again. We don't need that. Instead of that, we can then have a few of these scholars here.
A new milestone.
Righto, Age of Intellect we've reached thus, and our first block of scholars has been built up. They are now here. Beautiful, absolutely fantastic looking buildings.
Here constitutes a major breakthrough. Don't hesitate to ask if you need any assistance.
Right, so that's the first 5 that we have, and as we can see, they are content at the moment. They need the university, they need canned food, electricity later on down the line, and all the new materials that we also now have. The telephones, for example, and this one here, the tailored suits, in that case. So there's lots of items they want, and also they offer me, once again, guidance. So each scholar residence requires a campus extension permit, and don't fret if you run out of permits, you'll be able to request more at the Research Institute. Thus we can build more, and here we also have then all these new goods that we need. And instead of money, they generate research points. So this is also another thing. The more scholars we have, the more research we can do at the Research Institute. And in that case, for example, we have now the campus extension, and I'm actually eager, yes, to continue with that once again. Before we do anything else here, right? So this is the next research that we have now to enlarge in our research district. This is exciting though, and I love this aspect. Stay tuned.